Have you ever been drawn to someone's unique perspective on the world? That's exactly what happened when John met Sarah. From the beginning, there was something about Sarah that captivated John. Her fascination with patterns as colors was like nothing he'd ever seen. She could find beauty in the most unexpected places, turning an ordinary day into a vibrant tapestry of experiences. Sarah's infectious laughter was another trait that left a deep impression on John. It was the kind of laughter that could light up a room and make even the gloomiest day seem brighter. There was an unwavering honesty about her too. She was authentic, genuine, and unapologetically herself. No pretense, no facade, just Sarah. But it wasn't just her laughter or honesty that drew John to Sarah. It was her unique way of seeing the world, her different perspective. She would sometimes become so engrossed in her own thoughts that she seemed to be in a world of her own. Yet, when she came back from her mental explorations, she would share insights that were so profound, so deep, that they left John in awe. John was fascinated by Sarah's quirks and idiosyncrasies. They made her who she was, and he loved her for it. Each eccentricity was like a piece of a puzzle, coming together to create a picture of a woman who was unlike anyone he had ever met. But what John didn't realize was that these traits, these pieces of the puzzle, were not just parts of Sarah's personality. They were signs of something more, something that made Sarah's worldview even more unique. Little did John know, these unique traits of Sarah were manifestations of her autism. When two people decide to share their lives, they also share their differences. In the case of John and Sarah, these differences were not just the typical variations you'd find in any couple. They were unique, shaped by Sarah's autism. As their relationship blossomed, John began to encounter some challenges that stemmed from these differences. Sarah had a deep-seated need for routine and predictability. This was a significant part of her autism, helping her to navigate the world in a way that felt safe and comfortable. But for John, a man with a spontaneous spirit, this need for routine was something new, something he had to learn to understand. It wasn't always easy. Imagine planning a surprise date, only to realize that the unpredictability that makes it exciting for you makes it overwhelming for your partner. Or imagine having to remember that impromptu changes in plans, which seem minor to you, can cause significant stress for the one you love. These were the kinds of scenarios that John had to navigate. But it wasn't just about routines and predictability. Communication was another area where their differences became apparent. Expressing emotions in a way that's universally understood is often a challenge for people with autism. Sarah was no exception. She had her unique language of emotions, one that John had to learn to decipher. For instance, when she was upset, she might not express it through words or facial expressions as others might. Instead, she might become particularly fixated on a specific task or pattern. To the untrained eye, it might seem like she's simply engrossed in her activity. But John learned to recognize these signs, to understand the emotions that Sarah was expressing in her way. It wasn't always smooth sailing. There were misunderstandings, moments of frustration, times when they felt like they were worlds apart. But here's what made all the difference: their love for each other. It was unwavering, steadfast. It was the kind of love that made them want to bridge the gap between their worlds, to understand each other better, to celebrate their differences rather than see them as obstacles. Because at the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. Love. It's about seeing the person for who they are, not just their quirks and idiosyncrasies, but their soul, their essence. It's about embracing their differences, not as something to be fixed or changed, but as part of what makes them uniquely them. So yes, there were challenges. Yes, there were differences. But these didn't make their relationship any less beautiful. If anything, they added depth to it. A richness that comes from navigating life with all its complexities together. Despite these differences, their love for each other was unwavering. In the next scene, we'll explore how John embarked on a journey to understand autism better, to understand Sarah better. Stay with us as we delve deeper into this story of love, understanding, and acceptance. Understanding is the key to accepting and embracing differences. Just like a locksmith who must understand the inner workings of a lock to open it, John realized he needed to understand the intricacies of autism to unlock a deeper connection with Sarah. He knew he had to venture beyond the surface of what he saw, to delve into the depths of her world, her thoughts, her behaviors, and her emotions. It was not a journey he could undertake lightly, but it was one he was willing to embark on, fueled by his love for Sarah. John's quest for understanding began with books. He delved into the vast literature available on autism, soaking up knowledge from clinical studies, personal memoirs, and theoretical analyses. He read about the experiences of those on the autism spectrum, their struggles, their triumphs, their perspectives. Each page turned was a step closer to understanding Sarah, to seeing the world through her eyes, to appreciating her unique way of processing information. But books could only take him so far. John knew he needed to engage with others who were walking the same path. He sought out support groups, spaces where he could share his experiences, listen to others, and learn from their collective wisdom. In these groups, he found camaraderie, empathy, and a wealth of practical advice. He learned strategies for understanding and managing the behavioral aspects of autism, and he discovered the power of patience, empathy, and open-mindedness. Therapists specializing in autism spectrum disorders also played a crucial role in John's journey. They provided professional insights into the complexities of autism and how it manifested in Sarah. They helped him understand why Sarah might react differently to certain situations, why she needed routine and predictability, why she found comfort in patterns and colors. They gave him tools to communicate effectively with Sarah, to understand her nonverbal cues, and to support her in ways that respected her individual needs. The journey was not a smooth one. There were moments of frustration, of confusion, of self-doubt. But with each challenge came a greater understanding, a deeper empathy, a stronger bond. John learned to see the world through Sarah's eyes, to appreciate her unique strengths, her unwavering honesty, her infectious laughter. He learned to love her not in spite of her autism, but because of it. Through this journey, John realized that understanding autism was not about finding a cure or fixing what was perceived as broken. It was about understanding a different way of experiencing the world, a different way of processing information, a different way of being. It was about celebrating neurodiversity, about recognizing and respecting the uniqueness of each individual's brain function. John's journey to understand Sarah's world was just the beginning. It was the foundation upon which they could build a strong, resilient, and loving marriage. It was the key that unlocked a deeper connection, a stronger bond, a richer love. Through this process, he gained valuable insights into Sarah's world and learned to appreciate her unique strengths. Embracing neurodiversity means recognizing and respecting differences in brain function. This was the mantra that John adopted as he endeavored to understand and support Sarah in their life together. Embracing neurodiversity wasn't about trying to change Sarah or make her fit into a mold that society deemed normal. Instead, it was about appreciating her unique way of seeing the world, celebrating her strengths, and finding ways to navigate the challenges that came with her autism. John and Sarah's journey of embracing neurodiversity was a testament to their commitment to each other. It was a journey of discovery, learning, and adaptation. They didn't have all the answers, but they were dedicated to finding solutions together. Solutions that respected Sarah's neurodiversity, while also addressing the practical challenges of everyday life. One of the key areas they focused on was communication. John learned that Sarah often struggled to express her emotions verbally, but that didn't mean she didn't have feelings or that she didn't want to share them. So they developed their own language, a mix of words, gestures, and shared experiences that allowed them to understand each other on a deeper level. This unique language became their secret code, a testament to their bond and their commitment to each other. Managing sensory sensitivities was another area where John and Sarah had to work together. Sarah was sometimes overwhelmed by certain sounds, lights, or textures. Understanding this, John made adjustments in their home to minimize sensory overload for Sarah. This included choosing soft, comfortable fabrics for their furniture, using dimmable lights, and even selecting appliances that operated quietly. These changes didn't just make Sarah more comfortable, they also created a peaceful, calming environment that both of them enjoyed. Creating a comfortable home environment was about more than just managing sensory sensitivities, though. Sarah thrived on routine and predictability, so they established daily and weekly routines that provided structure and stability. They also designed their living space to be organized and clutter-free, which helped Sarah feel more relaxed and in control. These changes were not just concessions for Sarah's autism, but rather, they were conscious decisions that improved the quality of their life together. Embracing neurodiversity also meant learning to navigate social situations together. Sarah sometimes found social interactions challenging, especially when they involved large groups or unfamiliar settings. So John became her ally and her advocate, helping to create social situations where Sarah felt comfortable and included. They found ways to socialize that worked for both of them, whether that was intimate gatherings with close friends, quiet nights in with a favorite movie, or enjoying nature walks together. John's journey of embracing neurodiversity was not always easy. There were moments of frustration, confusion, and even heartache. But through it all, John discovered that embracing neurodiversity wasn't just about supporting Sarah. It was about growing as a person, about learning to see the world through a different lens, and about finding joy and beauty in unexpected places. John's love for Sarah was the driving force behind his journey of embracing neurodiversity. He loved her for who she was, not in spite of her autism, but because of it. He loved her unique perspective, her honesty, her quirks, and her idiosyncrasies. Embracing neurodiversity was for John a way of embracing Sarah, of celebrating her uniqueness, and of showing his love for her in the most profound way. Embracing neurodiversity means recognizing and respecting differences in brain function. This was more than just a mantra for John. It was a way of life, a guiding principle that shaped his relationship with Sarah. It was a journey that they embarked on together. A journey that brought them closer, that deepened their love, and that enriched their life together. Embracing neurodiversity wasn't just about understanding Sarah's autism. It was about understanding Sarah, about appreciating her in all her complexity and beauty. Together, they developed strategies to navigate the challenges of everyday life. This was the essence of John and Sarah's journey of embracing neurodiversity. It wasn't about overcoming obstacles or fixing problems. It was about finding ways to live together, to communicate, to love, and to celebrate each other's uniqueness. It was about embracing neurodiversity, and in doing so, embracing each other. Love is not just about finding similarities, it's about respecting and celebrating differences. This poignant insight forms the core of John and Sarah's love story. A love story that, like any other, has had its share of highs and lows, laughter and tears, moments of doubt and moments of elation. But what sets their story apart is the unique lens through which they view their world and their relationship. John and Sarah's bond is a testament to the power of love and acceptance. Their journey wasn't always smooth. They faced challenges, yes, but these challenges did not deter them. Instead, they used them as stepping stones to strengthen their bond. Their love story is a celebration of their differences, a celebration of their unique bond, and most importantly, a celebration of love itself. Their communication, though not always conventional, was always filled with love and respect. They found a rhythm that worked for them, a language of their own. This language was not made of just words, but of shared experiences, of patience, of understanding, and of unspoken emotions. It was a language that respected Sarah's unique way of expressing herself and John's willingness to understand her. Their empathy for each other was a guiding light in their relationship. John's empathy for Sarah's experiences as a person with autism allowed him to understand her better, to step into her shoes and see the world through her eyes. And Sarah, in her own way, reciprocated this empathy. She recognized John's efforts and his love for her, and this mutual empathy formed a strong emotional bond between them. Their willingness to learn from each other was a key ingredient in their love story. John was eager to understand Sarah's world, to learn about her experiences and her perspective. And Sarah, in turn, was open to sharing her world with John, to guide him through her unique way of experiencing life. This willingness to learn from each other fostered a sense of mutual respect and deepened their connection. In their journey together, John and Sarah have discovered that love is not about changing the other person or trying to fit them into a mold. Love is about accepting the other person as they are, with all their quirks and idiosyncrasies. It's about celebrating these differences, not just tolerating them. John and Sarah's love is a celebration of neurodiversity. It's a celebration of the fact that every person is unique, and these differences should not be seen as obstacles, but as strengths. Their love story is a powerful reminder that love does not discriminate. It does not see neurotypical or neurodiverse. It only sees two people who are perfect for each other in their own unique way. In their beautiful, unique, and inspiring love story, John and Sarah have shown us that love transcends all differences and challenges. They have shown us that love is not about finding a perfect person, but about seeing an imperfect person perfectly. They have shown us that love is not just about being with someone who makes you happy, but about being with someone who makes you a better person. Their differences were not obstacles to overcome, but rather strengths to be celebrated. So here's to John and Sarah, to their love, their journey, and their celebration of neurodiversity. Because at the end of the day, love is love, in all its forms, in all its colors, and in all its beautiful diversity. Every story has two sides, and so does our journey into understanding autism in marriage. We've spent a significant amount of time delving into John and Sarah's story, a tale of love, acceptance, and understanding. But you might be thinking, what about the other side of the coin? What about when a woman finds herself in love with a man who is on the autism spectrum? Well, that's exactly what we'll be exploring in our next part of this series. Part 2 will take us on a journey just as profound and enlightening. We'll meet Emily, a vibrant, energetic woman who fell head over heels in love with David, a man whose quiet strength and unique worldview captivated her. Just like John, Emily had to navigate the complexities of marriage with a partner on the autism spectrum. But her experiences, her challenges, and the way she navigated them were distinctly her own. We will delve into the nuances of their relationship, the highs and lows, the challenges and triumphs. We will explore how Emily learned to communicate with David, to understand his unique needs, and to navigate the world through his eyes. We'll see how Emily's understanding of autism evolved and how she, too, came to embrace neurodiversity. We'll witness the power of love, acceptance, and understanding, but from a new perspective. We'll learn about the unique challenges that Emily faced and the unique strengths that she discovered in herself and in David. We'll see how their love story unfolded and how they built a life together that was not just about overcoming obstacles, but about celebrating their unique bond. So buckle up and prepare for a journey that promises to be just as insightful, just as emotional, and just as inspiring as the one we've just been on. We've seen how love can transcend differences, how understanding can bridge gaps, and how acceptance can create an environment where love thrives. Now it's time to see it all again, but from a different viewpoint. Stay tuned for our next video, where we explore the dynamics of autism in marriage from a different perspective.